What if I told you that one of America's most successful naval jets didn't use ejection seats at all? Instead, if the things went wrong, the crew had to slide through a tunnel and exit the aircraft from its belly, directly between the engines. When the first generation of jet aircraft began entering service after World War II, engineers faced a completely new problem. At piston aircraft speeds, crews could often simply climb out and jump. But jet aircraft were becoming faster and faster, and escaping safely from a damaged airplane suddenly became a major engineering challenge. Early ejection seats already existed, but the technology was still in its infancy, and designers were still learning how to safely launch a human being into a high-speed airflow. And that's exactly where one of the most unusual naval aircraft ever built enters the story: the Douglas Skyknight. At first glance, the Skyknight looked almost comically bulky. Nicknames like Willie the Whale and Blue Whale followed it throughout its career. But appearances were deceiving. Introduced in 1950, the aircraft became one of the most successful night fighters of the Korean War, and achieved the world's first radar-guided jet-versus-jet kill at night. The reason for its unusual shape was hidden inside the fuselage. Unlike most fighters of the era, the Skyknight was designed around a crew of two: a pilot and a radar operator. Since radar equipment of the early 1950s relied on bulky vacuum tube technology, Douglas engineers needed a much wider fuselage to house all the electronics. That extra space allowed both crew members to sit side by side. This improved communication during night interceptions, but it also created a serious problem. How do you safely eject two people sitting next to each other? At the time, available ejection seats were considered too risky for such an arrangement. There were concerns that the crew members could collide during ejection or even be injured by the rocket exhaust of the opposite seat. On top of that, ejection seats would add extra weight to an aircraft that was already struggling with limited engine thrust. So Douglas engineers came up with something completely different: a tunnel. Behind the crew seats was a chute, leading downward and toward the rear of the aircraft. In an emergency, the cockpit would first be depressurized. Both seats could then rotate inward toward each other. The radar operator would leave his seat first. Turning around, he would kick open the escape hatch located behind the cockpit. Then, holding onto a horizontal bar, he would swing himself into the chute feet first. Gravity would do the rest. The crewman would slide through the tunnel and emerge from the underside of the aircraft, directly between the two jet engines. Moments later, the pilot would follow exactly the same path. As strange as it sounds, the system actually worked surprisingly well. Before the Skyknight even entered service, extensive escape tests were conducted in California. Experienced parachutists bailed out of the aircraft 22 times at speed ranging from 139 to 444 miles per hour. The tests were successful. Engineers then increased the speed even further and replaced human volunteers with test dummies. The system continued to perform as intended, even approaching the aircraft's maximum speed. Additional tests were performed under maneuvering loads reaching 3.5 Gs. Again, the escape chute worked. Perhaps the biggest proof of confidence in the design is that the US Navy and Marine Corps never attempted to retrofit conventional ejection seats into the aircraft during its operational career. And the story gets even stranger. At one point, the Marine Corps experimented with using the same escape tunnel to insert commandos behind enemy lines during nighttime exercises. Instead of a radar operator, a Marine rider would sit inside the aircraft. When the signal came, he would simply disappear through the chute into the darkness below. The Skyknight remained in service for decades, evolving from a night fighter into a radar trainer, missile testbed and electronic warfare aircraft, eventually flying combat missions even during the Vietnam War. And throughout all those years, its crews relied on one of the most unconventional escape systems ever installed in a military aircraft. A reminder that sometimes the most effective engineering solutions are also the strangest. That's it for today. If you like this type of presentation and would like to see more, please leave a like or comment and don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.